Hey, welcome back again. Sorry, this one's just a quick add-on to the last video. Um, I forgot to mention another thing that I thought was funny that happened the other day. So, um, my last video when I uploaded, not the last one, I don't know. Anyway, my youngest caught me in the process of uploading and she's like, "Wait a minute, are you talking to him?" And I was like, "Well, not directly. We still haven't spoken, face to face or directly, but I record these videos so that I can say what I'd like to say and hopefully he sees them, and if not, at least I've had the chance to put them out to the universe." And she's like, "Oh, can I make a video? I want to tell him stuff." And I said, "Well, we'll see. Maybe not right now, but maybe in the future we'll see how it goes." She's like, "Okay." And I said, "Wait, what do you want to say?" And she's like, "Well, I want to make sure he knows." And I said, "Make sure he knows what?" She said, "That, well, that you need to get married." I said, "That I need to get married? Wait, what? I don't need to get married." And she's like, "Well, no, not I know you're good, Mom. You tell me you're good all the time. But you're supposed to. You're supposed to marry. You're supposed to get remarried." And I said, "I thought you didn't want me to get remarried." She says, "Unless it's to him." And I said, "Oh, oh, well, that's really not a possibility." And she's like, "I know, but someday it will be, and it has to happen." And it just made me laugh. And it made me laugh because I don't know if I've ever shared this story to you about the day that my ex decided that enough was enough. He didn't want this marriage anymore, and he was done, and he wanted to make everything official. We'd had many conversations before that, and he hadn't been living with us for a very long time. But the day he decided that this was the way he wanted it, I was good. I was fine. I was actually, there's a lot of relief. There was a lot of fear. I was torn up inside as to the logistics of it all. Money, of course, where we're going to live, how I'm going to survive, how am I going to take care of 3 kids and a dog, my dog. Um, but as for the marriage being over, I couldn't have been more calm because our relationship had been over for a very long time. That being said, I wanted him to tell the kids right away. Together, but I wanted the kids told right away because I didn't want them having expectations of him coming home when he had decided that this was not his home anymore. So, much to his dismay, because he thought everything should just be left for an indefinite amount of time, I made him sit down at the kitchen table while the kids were having lunch to tell them what our decision was. And so we're sitting there and he's not saying anything, and he's not saying anything, and he's not saying anything. And I'm like, come on, like, they're almost done their lunch. They don't stick around after the food's gone. So I'm like, "Your dad has something he'd like to say." As they're trying to get up, I said, "You need to sit back down. Your dad has something he'd like to say." And they're like, "Oh, okay." So, and then he was mad at me because I forced the issue. And he's like, "Well, your mom and I have decided we're going to make this official." And they're like, "Make what official?" And I said, "Your dad does not want to be married to me anymore." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Wait, what? Why aren't they upset?" And they didn't care at all. And then my youngest, she goes, I said, do you have any questions, or are you worried about anything, or what are you thinking?" And she looks at her dad and she's like, "So, what do I call you? Do I call you by his name, or do I call you Dad?" And he goes, "I'm still your father." And then she went on to ask about what about cousins and aunts and such. And he's like, and I stepped in and said, "Everybody is still your family. Your family doesn't change. It's just the only relationship that's going to change is your dad's and mine." And they're like, "Oh, okay." that's fine. And then she's sitting there thinking, and nobody's saying anything, and she looks me right in the eye, and she's like, are you going to get married again? And I was like, well, it's not on the agenda. No, that is not the plan. Not any time in the near future there, Pumpkin. And she's like, oh, okay. And my son pipes up, and he's like, she doesn't care if you get remarried. She only cares if she's gonna lose a spot in your bed, because she'd been sleeping with me so much for quite a while. She wouldn't sleep in her own bed, and that's changed now. But at the time, she spent more time in my room than she spent in hers. And so he's like, she doesn't care because she just doesn't want to lose her space in your bed. And she's like, well, yeah, of course. And everybody laughed, and my ex was like, oh, why is nobody upset? Nobody cared. Like, it wounded him greatly. What he didn't understand was it wasn't about them losing him. It was that they knew that really things weren't going to change all that much. It was just a continuation of where we'd been for a really long time. So, and that we were doing really, really well here on our own. So he took it personally, but I just thought it was funny. All that being said, we had to rush the conversation because the kids and I were on our way somewhere and we had to leave. So we get in the car not even an hour later, and we are literally at the end of the street. Haven't even got to the first stop sign yet. And my youngest says, well, you could get remarried, Mom. And I was like, wait, what? You just said you didn't want me to get married. Well, I don't want you to get remarried to just anybody, but if you wanted to get married to you, that would be okay. And I was like, I just started laughing. I'm like, wait, what? I mean, we hadn't talked about you for a very long time. I mean, it comes up once in a while, but nothing in that realm of things ever. And I was like laughing. I was like, why would you say that? And I looked at my son who was sitting next to me, and I was like, can you believe this? He goes, well, it's not a bad idea. If it's going to happen, that would be the perfect solution. And I was like, who are you all? And what, where have y'all come from? Anyway, it made me laugh so hard because I wasn't abandoned by my husband more than an hour, and my children had me married off and shipped off to you. So I just thought that, you might not laugh at this right now, but maybe someday you'll see the humor of it all, because I laughed so hard. I laughed so hard. And then, we've never really had that conversation again. It's never even come up after that day. I mean, you and the boys come up in conversation, but nothing like, you need to marry him. So for her to all of a sudden yesterday say, well, I need to tell him what has to happen. It just made me laugh a lot. So anyway, I just thought I'd share and add that to my former video. It's about another 9 minutes, sorry. But yeah, it was just maybe someday it will make you laugh as much as it made me laugh. Until the next time, dear Twin Flame, you are loved and you are missed.